The Zhongli and Tartaglia banner 4-star characters have been revealed, and oh boy, it is Claymore Impact. Hey everyone, Shark here, and in this video I want to go over the 4.0 Phase 2 banner 4-star characters that have been revealed on the Chinese platform Bilibili. As we scroll down, we can see the current banner characters, Linny, Yolan, Barbara, Bennett, and Lynette, and then we see the upcoming 5-star characters, Zhongli and Tartaglia, but we also see Noelle, Sayu, and Freminet appear. Now we already knew Freminet was coming on this banner, but we didn't know that Sayu and Noelle would be here. So let's talk about all these Claymore wielding 4-stars and review the second phase banners. Now, first of all, these 4-stars are not that great. Noelle can be a really fun character, and she's one of my favorite characters because she does everything. She shields, she heals, and she does damage, but she's hardly a master of it all. Her shielding is good as long as you're on the field, but its cooldown is just way too long if you're trying to use her as a shielder, and if you do need a shield character, you're better off using the free event Layla from the 3.8 event that just happened, because Layla has a much more manageable cooldown on her shield. Noelle's healing is also okay. It's not really that strong, and it also has the drawback that you need her shield, aka her skill up and her burst up at the same time, and that can be pretty tough because she does not generate any geo energy, and that makes her very dependent on her teammates to give her some sort of energy. It's also worth noting that before Constellation 6, Noelle's damage is not really that good, but after unlocking her final constellation, she does hit pretty hard. However, unless you love Noelle or Geo teams in general, it's not worth trying to get her C6 because those Primo Gems could be spent on other characters that are really good at C0. Sayu is a really fun character, but she's probably used by more people for exploration than anything else. She excels at rolling around like Sonic the Hedgehog, unless you have to jump or go over a rock, and then her abilities fall a little bit short. She is an Anemo healer that can deal damage, and you can think of her as a mini Jean that's not quite as strong. Her skill turns her into Sayu the Hedgehog, and she rolls around, and it can be cancelled early, so it has a shorter cooldown. Her burst summons a giant Tanuki nesting doll that heals you and bops the enemies with Anemo damage. Anemo is a really good element, and so Sayu naturally has an advantage, and because her heals also scale off attack, you might think that she's a really good damage dealer on top of that, but unfortunately that is not the case. While she is a pretty decent character, to really make her shine, you'd want her to be using a 4-piece Viridescent set with full Elemental Mastery main stats, and to have her be Constellation 6. Sayu's C6 allows her to convert Elemental Mastery to damage and healing bonus, but like Noelle, it's definitely not worth wishing for C6 Sayu just for the bonus when you could use those primos on another character that could help you out a lot more. If you're unaware, it takes an average of 245 wishes to get a C6 4-star character on a rate-up banner. That is a lot of wishing, and if you ever plan to do that many wishes, I think you either A, need to really like the character, or B, just have a ton of Primo Gems to burn. Overall, Sayu is a lot of fun, but she's hardly game-breaking. In terms of character strength, I'd put her above Lynette, but below Sucrose for Anemo 4-star characters. Now we come to the newest 4-star on the list, Freminet, and he has a very interesting kit that allows you to play him a couple different ways. The reason you can do this is because his burst drastically reduces the cooldown of his skill, and that allows you to play him in one of two different styles. You can either play him by using his skill and then spamming normal attacks that deal physical damage, or you can use his burst, then skill, and then wait to use your skill every few seconds to deal cryo damage, thanks to his burst reducing the skill's cooldown. Freminet has the potential to be a decent character, but he would need very high talent scaling in order to make him strong. And by high talent scaling and high numbers, I mean like 700 to 800% multipliers, and I just don't see that happening with a new 4-star character. If his talent scaling numbers are not that high, then he probably won't be very strong, since you either have to play him as a physical DPS, which honestly is in a pretty bad position right now in the game, because physical damage focused setups are not really very strong, they're in kind of a bad spot, and they don't have a lot of really good support. And the alternative is to use your burst, not attack, then use your skill, then not attack for a few more seconds, and then use your skill again, and then repeat the process all over. Now if you want to focus on the second play style to deal cryo damage instead of physical damage, you're kind of just waiting around for a few seconds doing nothing, and that's why he would need very high talent scaling multipliers in order to sort of reach any sort of decent damage output. Since playing this style requires you to sit around and not do a whole lot for a couple seconds, you would need to make up for the damage loss incurred from the downtime between each skill use and not using another character that can do more damage in the same time. That being said, he probably will be a pretty fun character if you like skill spamming, and Pear the Penguin is just the best. Now we can move on to the 5 stars. I won't spend too much time on this since I did a review of the 4.0 5 stars and I don't want to rehash everything I said there, but suffice it to say that Zhongli will probably be more useful for most people. He provides the strongest shield in the game, universal resistance shred, and just makes so much of the game feel a lot more comfy, especially with a lot of Fontinian characters that are constantly sacrificing their own HP. He's also really nice for people that play on mobile or high ping, as the high shield value and high shield strength is really nice if you can't dodge perfectly due to latency issues or playing on mobile just being a little scuffed sometimes. The other 5-star character, Tartaglia, is a very good Hydro character, with the only real downsides that he has to be played on field to work, and so you need to build a team around him, and if you don't like playing with tight rotations, his dynamic cooldown timer that gets longer the more you stay in his melee form can actually mess up your team rotations pretty badly. I think unless you really like Tartaglia, Yelan would be a much better Hydro character option for most people, and of course there's Nervalite in the upcoming patch 4.1 that has a lot of people really excited already. Suffice to say, there's a lot of good Hydro 5-star character options now and on the horizon, so pick whichever one you like the most. I would recommend Yelan for most people just because there is such a wide array of teams she works really well in, and she's also very easy to play. But if you like Tartaglia or Nervalite more, then there's nothing wrong with wishing for them. Now unfortunately, they did not reveal the 4-star weapons that will be on the weapon banner, but weapon banners are pretty much always a trap, and this weapon banner will likely have the Vortex Vanquisher as the 5-star spear, and the Polar Star as the 5-star bow. Vortex Vanquisher is an awful 5-star spear, and it alone is a good enough reason for me to say that it is not worth wishing on this upcoming weapon banner unless all of the 4 stars are just absolutely godly. It's kind of unfortunate that both the 4.0 character banners don't really have any good 4 stars, with the exception of Bennett of course, but on the bright side, this will make it easier for some people to save for future patches and characters they might want a little bit more. I know Zhongli and Tartaglia are very popular. I'm not sure if you want Zhongli or Tartaglia, but I really did hope the 4 stars would be a little bit better than this. So if you are wishing for Zhongli or Tartaglia, I hope you win your 50/50s and get them early. Stay jawsome everyone, don't forget to like the video, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.